Interlock switches. There's two kinds of interlock switches you're going to see in an NCR ATM. You've got your 3-prong version right here and your 6-prong version. Now basically, the 6-prong is 2 of these put together in one casing. This switch up top here has 3 positions it can be in. It can be in its normal, which is the middle, which it's in right now, when we're not touching it or adjusting it in any way. We can pull it out, or we can push it in. Now, when it's in its normal state, this would be when you have your machine racked out. If it were pushed in, that's when you have your machine racked and latched in, would hold that in place. And if you have it pulled out, that would be when you have your machine racked out and you're ready to test it. You would pull that out so you could test it while it was racked out. We have 3 posts here. We have our common, we have our normally closed in the middle, and the normally open. It's labeled on that switch. I'm sure you can't see it in the video, but it's on there if you look at it. So what do we mean by normally open and normally closed? When this is in its normal state, is the circuit open or is it closed? We get to make that decision by where we hook up our wires to. So NCR uses normally open, which means we're going to hook up our 2 cables to the common and the normally open, which are the 2 opposite ends. Normally closed post is in the middle. We do not use that one. In the case of the 6-prong, it's going to look like that. So that's how we hook it up. So how do we test it to know that this is a good working switch? So total of 6 tests you're going to have to do for the 3-prong switch. You have to test common to normally closed and common to normally open for all 3 positions of that switch. So right now it's in its normal position. So let's make sure we have a good multimeter. I'm going to put it on ohms, touch my leads together. I'm going to get 0.01, good. That works. So, in its normal position, if I test normally closed, I would expect to see a closed circuit. So if I test common to normally closed, I should get a reading there. It's jumping around, but I have a reading. I have a good closed circuit there. Again, in its normal state, if I test common to normally open, I would expect an open circuit. So I'm not getting any reading when I test those. So I'm getting OL, which indicates an open circuit. So now I am going to pull this out so that the switch is in its not normal position. So if I test normally closed when the switch is not normal, I should get an open circuit. So if I touch those 2 together, I'm getting the OL, open circuit. So if I test common to normally open, I'm getting a complete circuit because the switch is in its not normal state. So when I push this in, I should get the same readings as when I pulled it out. When it doesn't lock in, you have to hold it there. I'm going to switch my leads because I don't have 3 hands. So let's hook up common to normally open. And I'm going to go ahead and push this in and hold it. So normally open, I'm getting a complete circuit there because I'm holding it in and it's not normal state. So now if I switch this over to normally closed and I push and hold that in, I should get an open circuit. So again, 2 tests for each of the 3 states of that switch. For your 6-prong, to test everything on here, you're going to have to do 12 tests. You're going to do everything we just did on that one, you do it twice. You do it for these 3, and you do it for those 3. And just repeat it. Here we have a micro switch. Find these in various places in NCR ETMs. The micro switch has 2 positions, open, closed. We have 3 posts here. We have our common post, we have our normally open, and we have our normally closed post. So if we wanted to test this switch for proper operation, we're going to hook up one lead here to our common. We're going to hook this one up to normally closed. So this switch right now is in its normal position. And we hook this up to normally closed, we should see a closed circuit. So when I push the switch in, I should change state and I should now have an open circuit. Oh well, open circuit. Okay. So now I'm going to move this over to normally open. So this switch in its normal state should have an open circuit, which is there indicated by OL. And when I flip the switch, I should now have a closed circuit. So I've got 4 tests to do to verify a proper operation of this micro switch.